Thank you very much for joining us for yet another great GridMarket session, where we get to speak to some of the greatest and most fascinating people in the world of computer graphics. Today, we have such a treat with visionary in the world of product visualization, Oleg Zvyagintsev. Oh, do you know what? I've just pronounced it and I've completely forgotten. I'm so sorry, Oleg. I will give that another go. I knew I'd forget it as soon as I went live. But before we do get into the webinar proper, let me introduce you to a couple of familiar faces if you are regular to the GridMarkets webinar world. We have Mark Ross from GridMarkets, who has made the magic happen today, and Ben Hill, Global Director of Oracle for Startups. So Mark, you are the reason we are here today. You bring everyone together. Please, could you tell us a little bit more about GridMarkets?
I can, thanks, Charlie. So GridMarkets is a cloud rendering and simulation service. We support all the major 3D packages, the ones you see here on the screen, and the major renderers as well. Some of the key features of our service are it's extremely simple to set up. You download a plugin from our website and you can be up and running literally in 2 or 3 minutes. Also, nothing new to learn. You submit directly from the 3D user interface of your favorite software. That plugin makes that possible. You can submit to one to many machines, and you can stack your submissions, so you can have multiple submissions running at the same time. So as a consequence, you can really accelerate your workflow. It's a pay by the hour offering, so and you can pretty accurately figure out what your costs are going to be in advance of actually submitting. So there's an opportunity to budget for your expenses before you actually initiate your project. The platform was built by artists and engineers, and it's supported by artists on a 24/7 basis. So we're here to help should you need any. And also importantly, it's secured by the Oracle Cloud, which Ben is going to be talking about in more detail. So here's how it works. Very quickly, you go to the sign up page, gridmarkets.com sign up. Step 1, you create an account. Step 2, you download the plugin that I was telling you about. It's called Envoy, and you download that package. And inside that package, there will be the plugins for the 3D software that we offer, graphically represented here. You install the plugin of interest. So let's say that you're a Houdini user. So you would install the Houdini plugin. And from the Houdini interface, you can then submit your Houdini simulation or Houdini render to our cloud, pushing a button. Once you do that, this real-time interface appears, and you can use that to monitor the progress of your jobs. You can also use it to control the jobs, to manage the jobs, start them, stop them, etc. You can interrogate the logs of any given frame by clicking on those job entries there and drilling down to a specific frame to see what's happening in any given frame. As the frames complete, they automatically download to whatever directory that you designated. Nothing for you to do. It happens all by itself. So your directory starts filling up with the frames that you have submitted to us. We're offering a free trial and a 15% discount on any credits you buy because you've attended this webinar. Go to the sign up page and enter that promo code there, 2021 November 11th webinar, and you'll get 15% more credits than you would have otherwise gotten. So that's it, easy peasy. Back to you, Charlie.
Thanks, Mark. And we'll go back to that offer. That offer will come back later on at the end of the session, so don't worry if you didn't quite grab it then. Zvyagintsev, is that right, Oleg? I was kicking myself after I said it wrong then. But thanks, Mark, for taking us through GridMarkets. We're now on to the wonderful Ben Hill. Ben is doing some really strong work with cloud security with Oracle. So please can you tell us a bit about that and what you guys are offering?
Sure, thank you, Charlie. So again, my name is Ben Hill. I am a global director for Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And I'm always happy to be here talking about OCI, Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, and our tireless dedication to security. So when Oracle went about launching our Gen 2 cloud offering, our approach to security was deliberate and direct. We wanted to ensure that it was architected in, automated, always on, and best of all, free. So let's go through some of the high points and how we went about doing this. First, more security by default. Now, what does that mean? Firstly, we designed for isolation. So we've taken the hypervisor and put it on the network layer. So what on earth does that actually mean, many ask? Well, in short, this approach separates customer traffic, which provides better security and performance. And as an added bonus, it reduces the risk of hypervisor-based attacks. Also, OCI has what's called separation of duties, which means Oracle admins have no access to a customer's memory space. And as it relates to your data and associated storage devices, we have all full encryption at rest and in motion, as well as integrated backups for business continuity and disaster recovery best practices. Now let's chat about our auto detection and remediation capabilities, specifically Oracle CloudGuard and Oracle Security Zones. Oracle CloudGuard provides comprehensive end-to-end monitoring for your cloud environments by continuously collecting and analyzing service configurations, audit logs, and other information, and reports its findings as problems based on out-of-the-box security recipes or custom security recipes created by the admin. And to complement Oracle CloudGuard, Oracle has Oracle Security Zones, which provide a secure enclave within customer tenancies for the most sensitive workloads, where security is mandatory and always on. This helps ensure compute, networking, storage, database resources comply with security principles, such as always on encryption, no public access, and automated backups, as I'd mentioned earlier. And last, but certainly not least, most security services are free, like multi-factor authentication for user access, OCI Vault, which can be used to store passwords, SSH keys, and certification. And OCI welcomes third-party tools, so you can federate your identity and access management policies with your organization's centralized identity providers, as well as SIM systems like Splunk and Logarithm via APIs and SDKs. All right, that is all I had on the security front, Charlie. I'll kick it back over to you.
Thank you. So now we have it. We're on to the main event. When I say Oleg has the most interesting backstory, I'm not kidding. His journey into where he is now is absolutely fascinating. And yeah, there's a few twists and turns along the way, let's just say. But before we get in to learn about that in more detail, Oleg, welcome. Do you want to show our audience a little bit of what you do before we start chatting about it?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you very much for having me. And let me roll my reel before anything. This is my reel.
Thank you for sharing. I mean, that is just visually beautiful. And I've got so many questions to ask about the different projects and how, you know, and how you manage that. You know, we've spoken to a lot of people around in media and entertainment, but this is just fascinating, and what you're creating is very beautiful. I mean, can you, I guess, start off with a little bit about your background, and did you always see yourself working in this particular sector of the industry?
Yeah, thank you very much for your words. And before I start, I can tell that my palms are wet and I feel a bit nervous. I hope I will not forget any of the words like from English language. So my name is Oleg Zvyagintsev, and I live and work in St. Petersburg, Russia. Initially, I am from the south of Russia. And as it always the case, it's all started in childhood. Like, I'm not an excuse here. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to be a hacker. And it's kind of my favorite toy was a remote from the TV, and because it has all of the buttons, and I can pretend that I'm like computer person or something. Like, so currently I can't tell about myself that I'm artist or something like that. Let's pretend I am a computer graphics person. It's something like broad. Like, it's okay for me.
I'll say it's fair to say you're a mixture of the two. I'd say there's an artist in there as well, just by your reel.
Yeah, thank you. So it is, but when I finished school, and while I was in the school, and once we had a computer in our house, me and my sister, we always kind of played with the software, like half of it all the time, not only games, like all of the software. And I guess it is because Russia is something wild place where everything you can have on this compact disc, like back in the day. Now it's a bit changed, but it was kind of a place like Pirate Island. So my first software of choice was Cinema 4D. I don't even knew that this is something like cool production software. Nothing about the software, nothing about the history of the software, just played with it. And I even made something like a movie out of it. And half of time, it was only like a cube that was textured with my face. Like, it was embarrassing. It is embarrassing to watch now, to be honest. So, but I thought I will be a developer, not a computer graphics specialist. But when I started to think where I need to go in terms of education, it was clear that I'm not really interested in math and all of this complicated stuff like developers need. And at the same time, I love the computer graphics, but this wasn't like idea that you can do this for the life. I am from the agrarian kind of place where you can be like truck driver, or you can be a lawyer or something like that. But somehow it clicked that you can go to the like learn this visual language as a specialty, I guess. So yeah, and
sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I went to the place where I wanted to go to the Cal Arts when I Googled it, like a perfect place for me. I see this computer graphics, computers like and visual part of the production, so great, but it was unreachable for me. And I started to look something in my country, and it turned out that you have to, you don't should want to be a hacker to be in this place. You always wanted to be drawing, and you need to be a kind of person who draws from the young age. I wasn't this person at all, so I can't get inside of these facilities where people learned computer graphics, because it was kind of related to the art. I wasn't art person, but occasionally I found place where this bar for go to was so low, so I kind of passed through. I learned with the little kids, with the small kids, little bit of drawing, like last year of school, and like passed through. So it was cool there. So yeah, in first 2 years, it was really great, because we had this we had exercises from the Bauhaus, is a giant design school, like history of design, and kind of all first 2 years we had our minds built on this kind of giant stones of the historical like exercises, like in terms of design, and we made them. We made sculpture and like drawing and everything. But third year was not so great for me because we started to go down the earth, and it's kind of started to be more like commercial design for the billboards or something like that. It was not so interesting. So I decided to end there, and being there, it was pretty expensive for my family. So I just decided to quit and go to the Russian army for 1 year.
Well, that's the that's the path that makes most sense. Art school to army, and what did you? Were you able to carry on your passions there? What did you do whilst in the army?
I didn't really want to go there. You just when you have these two kind of qualities, that you healthy and you poor, you go to the army. You don't have other options. So I was this person, and I went. I kind of became this child dream. I was there a hacker for sure, because when you know how to open Task Manager with a shortcut, you kind of automatically became like cyberpunk deity no one can live without inside. So I was a hacker there for a year, but my kind of this taste that was developed in previous several years, it was destroyed. First month, I kind of my eyes bleeding when I see everything there, how they make their documents, how they make like decorations or anything like that. It was so awful, like sound, music, or anything. It was not my place. But 1 month, 2 months, I don't really care about anything from this point. Like in terms of visual, it was just crashed. Like in life, there are much more important things to think about, like compared to what font do you want to use in the document. So yeah, and there I was this like person who works on the it's actually secret. I don't want to tell about it.
Okay, no, that's fine. We won't force you, don't worry. I'll divulge any state secrets. But I mean, from the sound of it, that experience kind of your creativity was flourishing. You went to the army, it somewhat got a little bit crushed. So how did you post army? What did that look like for you into getting where you are now in this world of such creativity and in that realm between artistry and tech?
Well, I had to find the job when I kind of graduated from the army. So it was, I had experience in the Photoshop. I knew these tools pretty well, but I didn't know where to go, and I just need to have the job fast. And I started to sell my resume, like it was very short, to different companies. And one company actually was very kind to me, and we had a conversation, and it was a position for a social media designer, and it was like minimum wage job, and also I was terrible at the doing it, because I had to pretend that I have kind of a taste, and I had these tasks from the copywriters who asked me to make an illustration, and I tried to guess what will be good for them, because I didn't. It's really nothing matters after the army for some reason. And I was there for 3 months, I guess, and I lost my documents and had to leave. But I had to leave. I kind of make this decision myself, and my boss, I think I kind of, she wants to have a tough conversation with me, and I kind of was first. Oh, I'm leaving.
Yeah, you got there first. So, I mean, that just seems like a world away from 3D and creating what you're doing. Were there other stepping stones? I mean, there must have been. What were the stepping stones that got you to where you are now?
Well, after I lost my documents, I started to think what I want to do, what I can do with the skills I already have. And in the meantime, I already knew how to use Photoshop and started to take a kind of little jobs with the retouching, like just painting people's faces, something like that. And it was pretty good, and I was able to have some money for upgrade of my computer with this kind of job. It was, I think, for a year. I in the end of this year, I thought maybe I can do it like that. I can work in the photo retouching and make it more complicated, because back in the day there was many interesting like places where you can do creative retouching, like Platinum FMD, for example, in Brazil. They do this very cool illustration, hyper real, but at the same time it is it's kind of a surreal, where like animals mixed with humans or something like that. And it was one direction that I looked into, and at the same time I looked into the movie industry. And movie industry was very interesting in terms of you don't have to have this kind of a taste that no one can explain you. You can borrow yourself in the tasks, like heavy technical tasks, and they are very understandable for anyone. Like and for me, I just looked both at those two directions. And from one side was matte painting. It was too close also with the movie industry, and I decided to choose movie industry and started as a rotoscoper in the like local movie. Yeah, it was my first job where I worked with moving kind of pictures, like not still images. It was rotoscoping, and it was pretty hard. I choose rotoscoping just because I saw that this is a pathway to be a compositor, and compositors are they kind of making the movie. When you see this reel from all of the studios, you see these layers of compositors, and it seems like compositors the only people who are making movie. So I wanted to be a compositor. So yeah, rotoscoping was my first job.
Was your step into that, and how did you achieve your compositing goals? How do you feel? I mean, working in the movie industry is quite, you've got your director who has got that vision, and as you've described, you felt you didn't really have to have much of a input on the creative design, compared to, I suppose, now what you're doing. You very much have an idea of the creative. Was that an aspect that drew you towards what you're doing now?
Rotoscoping is by itself was this aspect of my career, which kind of pushed me away from the operational, this kind of machinistic, or I don't know the word, like mechanical producing the steps, because it led me to the burnout, like complete burnout, because I became pretty good at rotoscoping from the start, just because I already had an experience working with curves. I was a graphic designer and illustrator. It's kind of the same tools. You just need to understand how to break down motion and break down the object that you're working with and animate it and everything. It's kind of not that hard in terms of understanding the job. And because of you become good at something, you inside of the production, you you kind of have more of that thing, more and more. And I really became this person who made the most complicated masks, and it was kind of a soul-sucking process. It was, you kind of you kind of sit all day, like 10 hours in a day, and just moving masks. Like, all right, it is efficient. You already know everything about it, how to make it, how to track everything, and how to mix these techniques. But it was so hard for me to continue it after 3 months of this thing. So yeah, and I, after that I worked as a compositor, but I already saw that that maybe this is not something that I would like to pursue, because it's kind of a way to burn out. Even with compositing, it seemed like it's interesting, but at the same time, I saw this. I thought I will be a post-production professional who go to the big facilities like MPC or Framestore or something like that. But I started to meet people who already was there, and they, not every of them was happy. Like it was kind of the same. Everything already done for you, and you need to follow the steps that someone more smart than you kind of prepared for you. And yeah, I just break that, and I didn't know anything. I wanted to have good reel for compositing to right away start with interesting shots, because no one give me interesting shots when I just starting out. And I decided, all right, no one can give me shots. I can make my own shots, and I can learn 3D and start doing shots for myself, just for the reel, just to get compositing job. And yeah, from this period, my kind of 3D period started. I started to think what kind of software I would like. I need to have this something in the end, like a reel. It was for the reel, and I started to look at the Cinema 4D, but it was too expensive. I wasn't 12-year-old boy anymore. I can't use it like previously, and I just choose between two software. It was Blender and it was Houdini, and it turned out I picked both for now. So yeah, here I am.
mean, here you are. And so you were working in the movies, you came from a movie background. How did you then take that side step? How did you find out about product visualization? How did that come about? And I suppose, actually, just for people who may not understand, who are more au fait with the media and entertainment world, which is what everyone's first, as yours was, go to in the world of graphics. Can you explain what product visualization is and what you bring, what its purpose is?
To be honest, I'm not ended up relationships with the movies and TV series at all. I just on this week I still working on the TV series. It's kind of mixed for me. So I'm not. This is why I'm telling that I'm a computer graphics person. I'm kind of a Swiss knife for today. Like I'm doing commercial. I'm doing movies. I'm doing this product visualization. Anything that kind of led me to interesting place, and it's true. I'm not a super professional at any of these fields. Like in every of these fields, there are so many people who smart and who much more focused on their part. But for me, it's like fun. And once I had this burnout with the rotoscoping, I decided to. It was fun once. Why I can't live my life still with fun, not with the lists of shots and identical movements and everything. So but I just wanted to have more options, and I started to think how I can at the same time learn 3D, and it turned out it's not only 3D. I needed to learn editing and work with sound, and how to make story, how to build this kind of narrative. It is essentially a mosaic of time. You are working with the sequence of images through which you kind of you allow someone else to go through the experience, and it was something that none of the compositor have like naturally, because we all working with the shots with a single shot. We don't even know what next to the shot typically. And I just designed this process for product visualization because I thought it is kind of reliable field. People are always gonna do these products, new products every single year. People have to do new products because this marketing machine, it's unstoppable. And I thought it's kind of, I can provide value for these people because for them, I see that the market itself kind of making pressure on them because they have to have all of these visuals, that they have to have videos and like images to just connect to the people. It's not, it's when everyone looking into the screen, like it is important for people to show up here. And I was thinking I can design efficient process for small businesses to help them with this product visualization part. And at the same time, I can learn with camera because they don't even need to know about I'm exploring something here, because like for the most 3D artists work with camera is just kind of a fraction of the work. They don't know nothing about it. They just put camera at the end of the shot, and how they don't know anything about like focal distances or how camera work. And for someone who has background in compositing, I always watched to the kind of cameras, and it was important which focal length you have, and it's kind of you observing how director of photography is working, and I wanted to implement it in my work. And yeah, this is why product visualization, because I have control over a whole narrative. I need to design whole experience for someone, and it was great for me. So it's kind of only 2 years, and I have no idea whether I will do this for a really long time, but for now I'm doing.
It's exciting you. So I'm going to open up the floor to questions. I've already got a few questions in 5 minutes, but I've got a couple of questions just from what you were saying there. So I mean, you were talking about really creating and exploring the whole story, and you love doing that. I mean, I'm sure your clients and taking your clients on that journey with you is they must get really excited and feel your passion as well. How does that process work with your clients? And also, actually, when you decided to move into product visualization, how did you start reaching out to people? What did that look like?
Our first step is always to show something. And while I was developing this process, I kind of have to go from every stage, so it won't be kind of surprises. There's no be surprises for me in the process. And this process itself was kind of productive in terms of content. And from this content, just from the developing process, I was able to find first connections with the people, because I just posted on the Instagram and with the hashtags, and also I registered on all of these platforms like Fiverr or Upwork and something like that. On the Fiverr, it's so many people. No one really see my kind of solution, to the point when I applied to the pro. Like I started to be a pro, and now I kind of the most expensive option on Fiverr. You can find me, and from people who really has a job done on this platform. And this is one of the places, because people are looking for a solution in places like these platforms. and Instagram always. So it was start of a conversation. What was the first part of the
Oh,
question?
I was going to say, just like it's you were talking about how you love being on that journey and discovering stories and creating that story. And I was just asking about taking your clients on that journey with you. It must be, is that something that you enjoy?
Yeah, 100%. And every product is a story, and almost every client that I ever had, they have this kind of specific pain point about this solution that they are providing. And it was very interesting to see how creatives kind of put their energy and effort to produce like electronic device and to solve their specific pain point, and hope that in the world will be enough people who also has this pain point. And from my point of view, I can choose someone, I can choose projects. I'm fortunate to choosing projects who really care about their product, who not just trying to gain some money with I don't know, just for the sake of money. They care. And but for them, video production, it is something really alien for them. And from the start, it was hard from someone who previously worked only with people from the production, who everyone in the production know about the process. You don't need to explain anything, you just need to do the job. And here you kind of need to speak with people at another level, like on the level of feelings and not specific parts. And I know that many professionals, and I'm myself included, it's kind of hardest part when you ask to make something beautiful. And for the first kind of several projects, it was hard to adjust, because I don't know how to describe it, because yeah, it's just hard for someone who used to work with specific tasks, like to start to think creatively and trying to understand another person and trying to clarify your point, why something is good and why not. And kind of you don't need to make your own kind of sorry, you just need to understand as good as possible your need of your client and what this client have for the market. And market is always people. It's not something something abstract. It's all for people and made by people. And I see myself currently as a glue between this production who has something to offer and people like audience who would like to have a solution. And this is it in terms of computer graphics for the end client.
Well, I mean, it's really fascinating. I think one that you've gone a creative and you've always worked on that route, but also discovering different ways of being fulfilled. Because I mean, we work most of the time, right? So we want to be fulfilled. I've got some questions. If someone needs a product visualizing, where do they come to contact you and to discuss the project?
Best place is my email, my website, olegzv.com. And I place my email right on the front page. And I'm not using Facebook and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is even blocked in my country, and Facebook is too complicated for me to learn for some reason. It's so hard. And there's kind of whether Instagram or email, it's best places to come to talk to me. So and we can just schedule a call and discuss it.
Oh, great. Well, that sounds very straightforward. Another question, I mean, you've explained that it wasn't the easiest upbringing, maybe for someone wanting to get into working with computers. Do you have any advice or suggestions about people that's living or from a region that is lacking schools with programs in this industry?
It's always kind of difficult to answer such questions because there is no single correct answer for this kind of question. But advice that I see that I wanted to have myself from this point of view back in the day is to try to be as soon as possible in the at least small studio, in the studio where you able to do anything. And in this small studio, you kind of can be generalist, and from this point of view, you already will be much kind of ahead. It's very hard to start being a freelancer from the start, just because of expenses like software and hardware. It gets more and more expensive, especially today. It's so hard to buy new graphics card, so because of this. And best way to start is to start with the studio, I guess.
Great, thank you. I hope whoever asked that question is I think that is great advice, because it is difficult. It's not everyone lives in a country where that software is readily available. So I think that's the last of our questions. Thank you so much, Oleg, for being part of this panel and hearing your story. Like, it's very inspirational, and it's just fascinating to see where you've gone and moved on to. And it's also good to know that you're still working in a varied environment. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Oleg.
Thank you, thank you, Mark, for your service too. It's a great. I'm using it like on every bigger project that I have, so it's very helpful. Streamlined
awesome,
my
Oleg.
process.
Yeah, great. Well, we were privileged to have you today. Oleg, you have a great story, and some of the work that you do is really outstanding. So very happy to have showcased it today in the webinar.
Thank you.
Let's tell you about next month, or it's not even next month. You're having 2 in a month, you lucky things. The next GridMarkets webinar, which is just here. So as a reminder, as promised, there is that promo code for your discounted credits, 53 credits for GridMarkets if you sign up using that code. And for our next webinar, we have Kate X. Kate is a Houdini artist and instructor with a passion and talent for creating scientific visualization. She's created shots for a number of major films, including The Umbrella Academy, Bad Boys, and Chaos Walking. She will be joining us on November 23rd, so put that in your diaries, November 23rd, to cover the topics of her career, procedural storytelling, and the intersection of art and science. So please sign up for the webinar at the usual place, gridmarkets.com/webinars. And we also, this has been recorded, so if you want to watch it again or share it with your friends and family and whoever else, colleagues, you'll also be able to reach the recorded webinar there as well. Now we can say goodbye. Thank you very much for joining, and good to chat with you all. Thank you.